أعزائنا المشاهدين، أهلا ومرحبا بكل متابعي ومشاهدي برنامجنا تبسيط العلوم، وتحديدا طلاب الصف الثاني الثانوي القسم العلمي. كيف تصبح العلوم بمثابة أسلوب حياة بالنسبة للجميع؟ ده اللي احنا بنحاول نحققه من خلال برنامجنا تبسيط العلوم. معادلة سهلة جدا، بنحاول نشرح المنهج والمقرر بأسلوب بسيط جدا في أقل وقت ممكن باستخدام أبسط القواعد والمصطلحات الممكنة. أهلا بكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامجكم تبسيط العلوم مع مادة الماث وشرح جديد لبارت 2 في الاستاتكس. معانا النهارده مستر عبد الناصر جابر عبد الله، خبير الرياضيات بوزارة التربية والتعليم. مرحبا بك. اهلا بحضرتك. ويمكن طلاب القسم العلمي تعبينك شويه وتحديدا الاستاتكس، لكن احنا قربنا الحمد لله نخلص المنهج، صح كده؟
ان شاء الله. هو ممتع الحقيقه لتدريس الاستاتكس، مش مشكله خالص.
جميل. نبدا بقى معاك بارت 2، ويمكن كنا في الحلقه السابقه فكرنا كده سريعا، كانت عن ايه؟
تمام، هي كانت عن اول ليسون في الاستاتكس اللي هو resultant of two forces acts on a point. يعني لو عندي two forces كده بيأثروا بوينت واحده، انا عايز resultant يعني التوتال resultant ليهم او التوتال فورس بتاعتهم.
جميل. نبدا معاك بقى الدرس الجديد النهارده، وكلنا شغف وهنستمتع بيه باذن الله
ان شاء الله.
اتفضل.
My dear students, we are going to study the next lesson, which is forces resolution. The last lesson will be if we have here two forces, F1 and F2. We want to find out the total force, which is called resultant here, and theta is the angle of inclination of the force R on the first force F1. But now this lesson we have a force, only force, and we would like to resolve it into two forces. We have a resultant here the resultant, and we want to resolve this force into two forces. One of them F1 and the other F2. It is the converse of the last lesson. So concentrate with me. Let's go to first slide. This is the lesson 2, forces resolution. We have here resultant as R, and we have theta 1 is the angle between R and F1, and theta 2 is the angle between R and F2. Yes. We have here the rule that you use to find out F1 and F2. F1 over sine theta 1 equals F2 over sine theta 1 equals R over sine the sum. F1 over sine theta 2 equals F2 over sine theta 1 equals R over sine theta 1 plus 2 theta 2. Try to concentrate with me. F1 here divided by sine theta 2, and F2 divided by sine theta 1, and equals R sine the sum of them. This is a rule, we can call it the sine rule. We have here a triangle. This R, which is EC, is OC, it's OC also, and we have theta 1 here and theta 2. Why theta 2 here equals theta 2 here? Because of alternative. BO parallel to CA, so measure angle BOC equal measure angle OCA alternate. So we can put theta 2 here, and we have already theta 1 here, and we have the sum of them because this angle will be exterior angle of triangle, so equal the sum of theta 1 and theta 2. And the angle CAO here, the angle CAO, it is 180 minus theta 1 plus theta 2 because it is the supplement angle. Notice that sine 180 minus theta 1 plus theta 2 equals sine theta 1 plus theta 2 from the trigonometry of first secondary. Let's go to the example. We have here, resolve a force of magnitude 12 Newton into two components inclined to the force by angle of measure 60 degrees and 45 degrees into different sides of it. Approximate the result into 4 decimal places. The solution, we have here F1, the first force, and inclined by an angle 60 degrees to R, which is the resultant, and we have F2 inclined by 45 on the resultant, and we would like to resolve R into two forces here, F1 and F2. The resultant here equals 12 Newton. Yes, we will apply this rule. F1 over sine theta 2, which is 45, equals F2 over sine 60 equals R, which is 12 over sine the sum. The sum of 45 and 60, it's 105. And we'll apply cross multiplication. F1 here equals sine 45 multiplied by 12 over sine 105. The answer approximately equal 8.7846 Newton. F2 equals sine 60 multiplied by 12 over sine 105, which is approximately equal 10.7589 Newton. Example number 2, with life application. We have a lamp of weight 20 newtons suspended by two metal rods AC and BC, inclined to horizontal by two equal angles. The measure of each is 5 degrees. Resolve the weight of the lamp into two components in the direction AC and BC, approximating the result to the nearest Newton. Let's look to the drawing here. We have, as he said, 20 Newton lamp, and it is exactly effect downwards because of the gravity of the earth, and we have AC and BC here equal in length, and we have W1 and W2. We will apply this rule. W1 over sine 85, W1 here over sine 85 equals W2 over sine 85 equals 20, which is R, resultant, which is a force. We would like to resolve it into W1 and W2. 20 over the sine of the sum of 185 plus 85 equals 170, and W1 will be W2 because they have the same denominator here, W1 equal W2, because all of them divided by sine 85, it is the same, so will be equal in magnitude, equal 20 multiplied by sine 85 over sine 170 degrees. The answer will be 114.73713, approximately equal 115 Newton. Let's move to the first. Resolution of a force into two perpendicular directions. It is a special case. Concentrate with me to find that F1 here acts horizontally and F2 perpendicular to it, and we have here theta 1 equals theta, and the other angle will be 90 minus theta because their sum here equals 90 degrees. We have R here, which is the resultant, and we would like to resolve this R force into two forces. All of them are perpendicular, F1 and F2. Okay, we will apply the first rule. F1 over sine 90 minus theta equals F2 over sine theta equal r over sine 90. Notice, my dear students, that f1 divided by sine the far angle. Okay, they exchange f2 over sine theta and r over sine the sum. The sum of 90 minus theta plus theta equals 90. We know that sine 90 minus theta as a trig equals cosine theta. So we can put it in the rule f1 over cosine theta equals f2 over sine theta equals r. Why r only? Because sine 90 equals 1. And we deduce that f1 here equals r multiplied by cosine theta. Okay, concentrate here. We have f1 equal r cosine theta and f2 equals r sine theta. Okay, yes, my dear students, concentrate with me. If we have two perpendicular forces like that, we have f1 here and f2 here, and we would like to resolve this resultant force into these two forces. If we have an angle here called theta, so when we resolve this angle, this force here, we will put r cosine theta and here r sine. Where is the angle? The angle is between r and f1. Again, we will say that here r cosine theta, but there r sine theta. Okay, let's move to the next question. Example: resolve a force of magnitude 18 Newton into two perpendicular components where one of them inclines to the force by an angle of measure equal 60 degrees. Solution: we have here f1, and f2. The force here equals 18, and we would like to resolve it into f1 and f2. Here, as we said, f1 equals 18 cosine 60. 18 cosine 60. But there, f2 will be 18 sine 60. Yes, f1 equals 18 sine 60 equals 18 multiplied by half equals 9 Newton. f2 equals 18 sine 60 equals 18 multiplied by root 3 over 2 equals 9 root 3 Newton. Let's move to the next. Inclined plane. What is the inclined plane? My dear students, look at me. We move in the roads and we have straight roads like that, but we have also bridges. If we have a bridge here, like this one, it's an inclined plane. The cars move from the street here and go up to the bridge. This bridge will incline by the horizontal by an angle, maybe 30 degrees, 20 degrees, as it is. Okay, so we will have the body. If we put it into or on the inclined plane here, we'll resolve it into two components, as you will see here. And it is a surface that inclines to the horizontal plane by an angle whose measure equals theta, but theta must be greater than 0 and smaller than pi over 2. Includes between 0 and 90 degrees, not more. Look carefully. Yes, it is an bridge or something as a plane here, inclines by theta on the horizontal. S is the distance here, h is the height here. Okay, we will draw it simply here. We have S, the distance here, and we have theta. It is the angle of inclination of the bridge or the inclined plane on the horizontal, and h is the height of this bridge at this point A exactly or concentrately. We have example here. A body of weight 6 Newton is placed on a smooth plane inclined to horizontal by an angle of measure 30 degrees. Find the components of the weight in the direction of line of the greatest slope and the direction normal to it. Solution. We have here the body put on the plane, the inclined plane, which is inclined by 30 on the horizontal. This is the angle 30, and we have here a body, its weight equals 6, and 6 here effect downward because of gravity of the earth, of course. And we have here F1, which is the greatest slope direction, and F2, it is the perpendicular to it. Look carefully and we will find that here this angle equals this angle. Always this angle equals this angle. Okay, so F2 will be 6 cosine 30 because they have the angle, and the other part equals 6 sine 30. As we see, the figure shows the force of the weight of magnitude 6 Newton, which acts vertically downwards. F1 is the component of the weight in the direction of the line of the greatest slope of the inclined plane downwards. F2 is what? Is the second component which acts normal to the plane downwards. F1 is the component of the weight of the direction of the line of the greatest slope. Let's see. This is the same direction, the same drawing, and we have F1. F1 here equals 6 sine theta. Theta here is 30. So 6 sine 30 equals 6 multiplied by half equals 3 Newton. F2 equals 6 cosine theta. So 6 cosine 30 equals 6 multiplied by root 3 over 2 equal 3 Newton. Exercise. The first one. A force of magnitude 6 Newton acts in direction of north. We know that north is a mean direction. It is resolved into two perpendicular components. So it is a component in direction of the east equals what? Newton. Let's draw in. This is the n direction here. Yes, 6 Newton. And this is the east direction here. F. This is the right angle between them because they are perpendicular. And F here equal 6 cosine 90. Because the angle here 90 is between 6, which is the original force, and we would like to resolve it to first component, which is F. The angle between them equal 90, so we will apply the rule. Equals 6 cosine 90 equals what? Equals 0. Yes, because cosine 90 equals 0. 0 multiplied 6 equals 0. Yes, a force of magnitude 4 root 2 acts in direction of east, as you see here. This is the E, means east direction, and the force equal 4 root 2 Newton, and this is the north direction. They are perpendicular, and we have F here, which is north and east, and we have another direction which is perpendicular to F, another component. The angle here will be 45 degrees, and of course the angle here will be 45 because he didn't say what angle between them. when he say it is in the northeast or east-north, without reminding or without mention an angle, it will be 45. It is in the middle here. So the angle is here 45 and 45. To find this force, just F equals 4 root 2 cosine 45. This angle 45 here, 4 root 2, will be resolved into this one by taking 4 root 2 cosine 45. The answer will be 4 Newton. Let's move to the next one. We have here the next lesson, the unit 1, lesson 3.
جميل. مستر، عايزه بس اسال حضرتك يعني سؤال كده عابر خلال هذا اللقاء. شكل الاسئله وطبيعه الاسئله بالنسبه لطلابنا في الماده دي هيكون هو زي ما هو، ولا في اختلاف؟ باعتبار طبعا ان احنا دلوقتي في ان شاء الله نظام تعليمي جديد وفي استخدام للتابلتس والتكنولوجيا يعني الحديثه بتفرض نفسها، فهل فعلا في تغير في نمط او شكل الامتحانات والاسئله ولا كما هو بالنسبه للسابق؟
بص حضرتك، هو المحتوى هو نفس المحتوى، يعني اللي كان بيدرسه الطالب من 2-3 هو نفس المادة العلمية، ولكن الأسئلة بالتأكيد هتقيس الفهم. يعني هو يختلف بين طالب والتاني ما بين هل هو فاهم ولا حافظ الطريقة وخلاص.
بالظبط.
لو طالب الحقيقة فاهم، وده إن شاء الله نحاول في المرات اللي جاية نعمل أسئلة يعني شبيهة شوية بإن ممكن الطالب لو فاهم هيفكر شوية كده ويوجد الحل، ولكن الطالب اللي مش فاهم هيلاقي مشكلة الحقيقة.
طبيعي.
فأنا بدعو الطلبة إن هم لما يذاكروا يقروا كويس بالتدقيق ومن بين السطور، يعني يهتموا بالديتيلز، يهتموا بالتفاصيل، ما يهتمش إن يعرف طريقة الحل إزاي وخلاص ديناميكالي كده بيحل زي كل مرة، لا يحاول يفهم هو ليه كده. تمام، وإن شاء الله هنبقى نشوف أسئلة.
يعني شكل الأسئلة استعرضناها مع حضرتك في هذا اللقاء، كل الإكزامبلز دي تعتبر مستوحاة من التستس الحقيقي اللي ممكن تيجي وشبيه
بعضها الحقيقة، لأن ضروري يبقى فيه الاثنين، وحتى الامتحان اللي موجود اللي هيبقى موجود ان شاء الله اكيد هيبقى ميكسد ما بين القديم والجديد عشان خاطر ما يبقاش مره واحده للطالب. يعني
هنستأذنك في دقائق معدوده حضرتك بس هتعمل كده ريفير للدرس الثالث المتوقع ان احنا نشرحه ان شاء الله. تمام. ونقول كده بريف بس عنه
باذن الله.
اتفضل.
ماشي. My dear students, we are going to study the third lesson here, which is the resultant of coplanar forces meeting at a point. The first lesson was talk about two forces act at a point, two forces here, F1 and F2, act at a point here, and we have found the resultant of them. Okay, we cancel these two forces and resultant will be remain, and it's an inclined a theta angle on the first force. The second lesson was I have a force as a resultant, and we would like to cancel it or to find two components instead of it. Okay, and we cancel the force. This lesson talk about many forces, 2, 3, 4, 5, any number of forces, and we would like to find the resultant. So concentrate with me to see what is this lesson. The resultant of coplanar forces meeting at a point. This is our lesson. The resultant of coplanar forces meeting at a point analytically. X equals what? The sum of all forces which acts on OX direction. The sum from R equals 1 to N, FR cosine theta R. And Y will get all forces R from 1 to N, FR sine theta R. All forces act on OY. R equals XI plus YI. This is the R vector. And magnitude of R, which is the resultant, equals square root X power 2 plus Y power 2. Direction, which is tan theta, equals Y over X. Example, we have here 4 coplanar forces act at a particle. The first of magnitude 4 Newton acts in the eastern direction. The second of magnitude 2 newtons acts in direction 60 north of east. The third of magnitude 5 newton acts in direction 60 north of west. And the fourth of magnitude 3√3 newton acts in direction 60 west of the force. Find the magnitude and direction of the resultant. Look here. We have here the first force, which is 4, acts on east direction, and 2 acts in north of east by 60 degrees angle. When they say north of east, you prefer to put this angle on the east, the force with the east, because east remind or mentioned the last. We have 5 here. The force 5 acts on north of west, so concentrate on west and the force. It is between the force and west, equals 6 degrees. And 3 acts on south of east, not east of south. South of east means that this angle between the force and east, which is mentioned last. Let's go to x. X here equals 4 cosine 0, because the angle between this force and OX equals 0, because its effect on x. 2 cosine 60, 5 cosine 120. What is 120 here? We have here all angles between the force and OX. The first 60, the second 120, the third equals 210. So x equals all these forces. Their sum here equal -2. Someone asked me, what is -2? You told us that we haven't a force. No, it is not a force. It is the force in x direction only. So why? We replace cosine by sine, all of them. Instead of cosine 0, we have sine 0. Instead of cosine 60, sine 60, and so on. And we have the result here will be 2√3. Okay. We have r equals x equal 2√3 j in direction j minus 2 I. R equals square root x power 2 plus y power 2 equals √16, 4 Newton. And x less than 0 and y greater than 0, so theta equal 120 degrees as this one, meaning that magnitude of the resultant equal 4 Newton. Its polar angle is of measure 120 degrees.
مرة تانية بنشكر مستر عبد الناصر لوجودك معنا النهارده وشرحك الجميل. بشكرك يا فندم.
ربنا يخليك. شكرا.
أعزائنا الطلاب، حتى نلتقي معكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامجكم تبسيط العلوم. شكرا لحسن وطيب المتابعة وإلى لقاء جديد.